Hello. Welcome to just a little chat here that we're going to have. I'm Todd Knowlton with Smooth Fusion. Got Scott Snowden here from Flywheel Strategic. And of course, both of us are part of the Proven Alliance. And want to talk a little bit about e-commerce actually today. Both of our companies have been longtime Sitefinity partners, work in that platform every day, and just frankly, there's a lot of overlap between what Flywheel does and what Smooth Fusion does. But we've always been, good partners on projects. And one of the areas where there is more differentiation between our companies is in e-commerce, in that Smooth Fusion traditionally has not done a whole lot of e-commerce. And so when we do run across those things, we run to Scott and say, hey, let's do this right. And so want to talk about that a little bit. So Scott, glad to have this opportunity to do this. And just maybe if you just want to talk a little bit about content and commerce and how they work together and how you guys approach e-commerce.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is probably a good way to sort of think about why it's such a good fit with our sort of mutual ecosystem and the Sitefinity ecosystem, which is sort of a content experience platform. When you sort of approach e-commerce, it tends to evoke the image of an experience that is very catalog driven. I need to find products. I need to compare them. I need to know pricing, and then there's a whole workflow of or user flow of your cart and a checkout, and that comes along with all kinds of things that e-commerce managers expect. Couponing and promotions and integration with digital ad platforms for retargeting and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of very quickly almost neglect what is otherwise a more traditional content effort. And that's where Sitefinity really does shine, is helping you deliver these rich, strong, meaningful, and well-directed content experiences. And so we work almost exclusively inside Sitefinity for delivering e-commerce experiences. And I think both of us are probably have a predilection more towards sort of the B2B space.
Yeah.
And those kinds of digital experiences and those kinds of e-commerce experiences are a little bit different than a straight consumer, buying a new pair of shoes kind of experience. You don't always even need credit card checkout at the end of your shopping cart experience. It's got to go onto a PO, or maybe that is just helping you as the procurement manager or the operations facilities manager find the right products, compare specs, because you key it into your system, which then electronically communicates to your customer, to your vendor, into their platform. So when you can elevate an e-commerce experience by adding in the necessary content and content experience that you would also traditionally think about, you get to go a lot further with the engagement and the usefulness of the e-commerce platform. So Sitefinity helps you really do a good job of the content marketing. You put an e-commerce experience into there, which you can do with Sitefinity, but we use some other tools. We have Znode in the mix, which is a really good B2B e-commerce platform, and it connects in, and you can sort of mix and match your content with your traditional e-commerce experience. So I've almost sort of forgotten the question that you asked me, but I think it was pretty broad, to just sort of talk about content and commerce together and why they and how they support each other.
Yeah. And so what's a typical, maybe tell us about a couple of the cooler e-commerce projects you've had. Like, what's a typical look, because like for us, like most of the e-commerce things we've done in the B2B space have been like what you were describing. Nothing's going in a cart,
Right.
nothing's getting paid for with a credit card. It's more of creating a transaction that maybe is getting completed some other way.
And probably a very high value transaction, right?
Yeah.
These are going through in high quantity or high value orders. I mean, we do work for companies that sell heavy machinery. You want to buy mining equipment or bulldozers and backhoes. You want to rent that kind of heavy machinery. You want to buy that kind of heavy machinery. We've done a lot of work in that space. We've done a lot of work for American Air Filters. That's a brand name, client name that I can share. And what's really cool about that project is it's such a large company. They have a global footprint, and they serve so many different markets. So obviously they're pros at air filtration, but you need a different collection of material from them if you are the facility manager for an airport than you do if it is minus a million outside right now at the end of January and my furnace can't keep up because my filter is clogged. So there's two different sort of audiences there, but it's the same company. It's a different product catalog, but it's a slightly different delivery of the same information. One is also sold through a retail channel. The other one is sold through that B2B channel. You need to talk about sort of the value that it's going to bring and the virtues of this particular brand and this product. But at the same time, you got to be able to drill down right into spec sheets and specifics for your application.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about Znode. I'm not as familiar with it as you guys are, obviously, but what are the pieces that Znode brings to the table that makes you want to utilize
Makes you want
it
to
in
think
the
about it,
project?
yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that if you are in a B2B selling scenario, that's why you want to take a look. So there's all kinds of different e-commerce platforms on the market, and they're all really good at helping you manage a very large catalog and all of your assets and your pricing tables and your customer specific situations. But a lot of them were first built for a consumer audience and a consumer solution. Znode was first built for a B2B commerce scenario. And at first you're like, what does it matter? Well, there are so many little nuances that when you start to sort of add those up and you realize there's a platform out there that was first built considering those nuances, that collection becomes quite a compelling value proposition. Mm-hmm. So think about the fact that you might enter into a procurement contract with a particular customer. So if you're a distributor manufacturer, you have to actually, for B2B scenarios, a lot of times you have to go through an RFP process to even be able to sell your products. And then once you win the RFP, it still comes through as single orders, right? But there's contracted pricing, there's even contracted products that you can make available, and you don't want anybody to see anything from that customer that isn't in their contract. Yeah. So specific customer catalogs and pricing, we've talked about already how you complete this purchase not always, hardly ever, through a credit card transaction. It goes system to system. So understanding those kinds of workflows, payments, you get into other scenarios about sort of like shipping methods. Like, a lot of times when you and I are, replenishing our home furnace filter, we're just, taking whatever shipping courier that retailer provides. Well, in the B2B space, every customer has their own shipping contracts and they need to put it on their way bills and things like that. So there's a whole collection of little nuances that when you kind of realize that there's a platform that's thought about all of them and is ready to be that flexible, you're like, wow, why did I not discover this sooner? We have several clients where we're like, boy, I wish 10 years ago we had this available.
Yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, and I don't know, it's to throw in a little plug for the Proven Alliance here.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about the Proven Alliance is that but between the four entities that make up the alliance, we just have such a broad base of experience across not only industries but types of technologies and skill sets. And so, like I say, it's something we've really appreciated about our partnership with Flywheel is that we've been able to lean on you guys when we had those opportunities for that required a little bit more robust
Well, I think
e-commerce.
it's just also a familiarity that just circumstances have also sort of brought us to these different experiences, which we have a shared understanding of how to get it done, but a different, unique, real world experience that we can then, and a great sort of synergy in corporate posture and profile and personality, which makes it work so well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, Scott. Appreciate the time this morning, and we'll leave it there. But we'll,
You bet.
if we can, obviously, if you're listening to this video and you are curious about how any of our companies here in the Proven Alliance can help, we'd love for you to reach out. So,
You bet.
have a good one, Scott.
Thanks, Todd. Talk soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.